We mourn today the loss of a giant of soul and R&B, Michael Eugene Archer, better known to the world as D'Angelo, February 11, 1974 to October 14, 2025. His departure leaves a void in music that few could ever hope to fill, for his voice, his soul, his artistry touched so many hearts. As fans, fellow artists, and admirers around the world grieve this loss, we celebrate the life of a man who reshaped modern soul, and whose legacy will forever resonate. Michael Eugene Archer was born on February 11, 1974, in Richmond, Virginia, into a deeply religious household. His father was a Pentecostal preacher, and the church was central to his upbringing. From a very young age, Archer showed an uncanny musical gift. By the time he was 3 years old, he was observed playing piano at home, much to the surprise of his older brother Luther, who recognized his talent. Though he grew in a religious environment, Michael's musical tastes and influences ranged far beyond the pulpit. As adolescence set in, he began teaching himself more instruments and writing his own songs. In his mid-teens, he formed a local group in Richmond called Michael Archer and Precise, alongside relatives and close collaborators. At around age 17 to 18, the group entered the famed amateur night at Harlem's Apollo Theater. They won 3 consecutive nights, which earned them local acclaim and gave Michael confidence to pursue music seriously. After that success, he dropped out of school and relocated to New York City, determined to forge a professional career in music. Early in his time in New York, Michael briefly affiliated with a hip-hop group called IDU, Intelligent, Deadly But Unique, contributing as a writer/producer before fully devoting himself to solo work. By the mid-1990s, Michael Archer adopted the stage name D'Angelo, pronounced D'Angelo, and began shaping a new sound, one that merged the depth of classic soul with contemporary R&B, jazz, hip-hop and funk. His style would later come to be known as neo-soul, a term embraced by many but, in his case, perhaps merely descriptive of his own unique voice. In 1994, D'Angelo co-wrote and co-produced the track You Will Know for Black Men United, a supergroup of R&B artists gathered for the Jason's Lyric soundtrack. That song earned him visibility and respect in the industry. With the momentum building, D'Angelo released his debut solo album Brown Sugar in 1995. Initially, Brown Sugar sales were modest, but as word spread of D'Angelo's soulful originality, the album gained traction. It peaked at number 4 on the US R&B albums chart and stayed on the Billboard 200 for over a year. Its singles, especially Lady and the title track Brown Sugar, became signatures, and the album earned platinum status. Critics praised Brown Sugar for its raw emotional honesty, minimal production, warm groove, and integration of vintage soul with modern sensibilities. Many argued it played a defining role in launching neo-soul as a recognized movement. After the rush surrounding Brown Sugar, D'Angelo retreated somewhat from the public eye, taking time to refine his artistic vision. Over 5 years, he worked painstakingly on his next project. In 2000, he released his second album, Voodoo. Voodoo was a breakthrough. Debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200, it pushed boundaries with its dense, rhythm-driven production, improvisational musicianship, and sensual, intimate lyrics. The song Untitled, How Does It Feel? Became a massive hit, aided by a provocative video that became iconic in its own right. At the Grammy Awards, Voodoo won Best R&B Album, and D'Angelo earned Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for Untitled, How Does It Feel? However, the touring period that followed was arduous and stressful, and D'Angelo began showing signs of inner turmoil. His struggles with perfectionism, stage pressure, mental health, and substance use began to surface publicly. D'Angelo declined interviews for long stretches, often shying from media, preferring to let his music speak. In 2005, he was arrested on charges of driving while intoxicated and drug possession, and a few days later, was involved in a serious car crash, issues that further complicated his ability to maintain musical consistency. During this period, D'Angelo also made contributions to other artists' work, collaborating, lending his voice or producing tracks, but his solo output remained sparse. Many fans and critics speculated endlessly about the long-awaited third album, sometimes dubbed James River, but its release repeatedly receded into mystery. After years of anticipation, in December 2014 D'Angelo surprised the world by releasing his third studio album, Black Messiah, with his band The Vanguard. The album was widely hailed as a masterpiece, politically charged, musically adventurous, and rich with passion. It debuted in the top 5 of the Billboard 200 and earned multiple Grammy Awards, including Best R&B Album. D'Angelo's performance of Really Love from the album earned him additional awards. He supported Black Messiah with the Second Coming tour, performing globally with his great bandmates, among them Chris Dave, Pino Palladino, and others, bringing intricate arrangements and electrifying performances to fans across continents. In the years following, D'Angelo's public appearances were selective. In 2018, he contributed the song Unshaken to the soundtrack of the video game Red Dead Redemption 2. In 2021, he participated in a live Versus-style performance at the Apollo Theater. Reports suggest that in 2024 and early 2025, he was working on new material, a companion piece to Black Messiah. Personal life, struggles, and relationships. D'Angelo was intensely private, especially about his off-stage life. Over the years, he spoke little publicly about relationships or family. In the 1990s, he entered a relationship with singer Angie Stone. Together they had a son, Michael D'Angelo Archer, Jr., born in 1998. He also had a daughter, Imani, born in 1999, and a younger son, born in 2010. The mother is less publicly documented. Throughout his career, D'Angelo wrestled with mental health, addiction, and the pressures of artistic perfection. His reluctance to conform, fear of diminishing returns, and self-criticism often made his creative process tortuous. Despite those struggles, he retained the respect and love of many peers and fans who saw in him a rare purity of soul. In early 2025, tragedy struck again. Angie Stone died in a car accident in March 2025, just months before D'Angelo's own passing. According to sources, he was deeply affected by her death and had difficulty even attending her funeral. Final years and passing. In mid-2025, family representatives confirmed that D'Angelo had been battling pancreatic cancer. He spent months hospitalized and, in his last 2 weeks, was in hospice care. On the morning of October 14, 2025, Michael Eugene Archer, D'Angelo, passed away in New York City at the age of 51. His family released a statement reflecting the deep sorrow and gratitude they felt, mourning his departure, asking privacy, and inviting the world to celebrate the gift of his music. Colleagues, fellow artists, fans, and media outlets flooded social media and press with tributes, acknowledging D'Angelo's transformative influence on modern soul and R&B. Legacy and impact. D'Angelo will forever be remembered as a pioneer, one of the voices who helped usher in the neo-soul era. His music combined raw emotional vulnerability, complex musical arrangements, and fearless experimentation. Rolling Stone placed him at number 75 on its list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. Billboard has celebrated him as one of the greatest R&B artists. Albums like Brown Sugar, Voodoo, and Black Messiah remain touchstones in the canon of modern soul music. His musicianship, he was known to play piano, guitar, keyboards, drums, allowed him to sculpt his sound intimately. He influenced countless younger artists who cite him as a reference point for authenticity, musical integrity, and daring. Moreover, his life story, of brilliance and fragility, of retreat and return, is a powerful reminder of the burdens often carried by artists who feel too deeply. Many who followed him saw in his approach an example of honoring one's craft over commercial pressure. Dear viewers, as we close this tribute to Michael Eugene Archer, D'Angelo, let us carry forward his spirit, to feel deeply, to create honestly, to resist shortcuts, and to listen with open hearts. If you appreciate stories of musical legends, their struggles, and their enduring legacies, please subscribe and stay tuned for more biographies of the artists who shaped our world.